Hi, and welcome to episode 50, Where Have You Been? Of Girlfriends Knitting. My name is Carolyn, and I go by Call Shirley on Plurk and Ravelry. And I have been relaxing. That's where I have been. Work has been very, very busy and is about to get very busy again into the semester, and I have a lot of traveling to do. My assistant and I figured out that I'm going to be gone more than I'm going to be here in the next 3 weeks, all traveling for work. So I am about to be a very busy woman. So I'm going to definitely record as I can, but some of the recording may be done from afar. So that was 1 week I was just swamped and didn't get time to. And I have time on the weekends to record, but I don't have a really good space. My house is a very open floor plan, and so you've seen me kind of hiding in my bedroom. You've seen me, the craft room upstairs is actually open to downstairs, so it's not a very good place when there are people around. It is too much background noise. So I try to avoid now recording at home. So unless I come back up to my office on the weekend, it's recording on the weekend just doesn't happen very well. I'm very subdued this morning. I kind of feel like a caveman. It's like, coffee, ugh, must have. So I'm not quite my normal chipper self, I can tell as I'm talking. I'm glancing over at my show notes. That was 1 week. The second week that I missed, I was traveling. And I just told myself I was going to be completely, basically internet free. I wasn't on Plurk very much, if at all. I wasn't on Ravelry hardly at all, I don't think. We had rented a cabin in the mountains, and 3 of us went, me and Amy and Chelsea went and basically hid in the cabin in the mountains, and it was fabulous. The cabin was a very luxurious cabin. It did have internet, but not very fast, and I didn't want to be connected. I wanted that disconnect and sit out on the porch in the morning and look out over the mountains and drink my coffee and knit. I didn't get as much knitting done as I thought I would because I realized how exhausted I had been. It has been a roller coaster last few months, from Dad getting sick and then passing away, and then me having to jump back into work. And work has been really good, but very busy. So it's been, I didn't realize how exhausted I was. And so I did a whole lot more sleeping and a whole lot more just kind of vegging out, staring at the TV than anything else. We had a Harry Potter marathon. That was a blast. One day we cooked, it was cold and rainy, and we had fireplaces in the cabin, which was awesome. And so we cooked a big bowl of soup and put on, starting at the first Harry Potter movie, went all the way through the last one. Just an all-day, like 12, 14-hour marathon of Harry Potter movies, and it was awesome. And I did knit a little bit that day, but again, most of it was just vegging out and staring at the TV, which was really good. And hopefully it'll get rid of some of these bags under my eyes. I did do some knitting. I'm working on a surprise for the Girlfriends Knitting Knit-Along, and I can't wait to share that with y'all. But I have not cast on yet my project for the Girlfriends Knitting Knit-Along. Luckily, all of my designs so far are pretty quick. And I'm going to be knitting the crisscross cubbies, and that knits up very quick. So I still have time, as well as anybody else who wants to join in. So the Girlfriends Knitting Knit-Along goes to the end of March 31st. And then the next week I will draw prizes. We have 3 prizes: a bag from Absolute Wonder, that's Ginger, a free spirit, she's so sweet, a set of stitch markers. Hold on 1 second, because I realized I had them with me. They're little rubber O-rings in bright green, and they are awesome for larger needles. And then 2 skeins of Barocco Bobbly in the Bonbon colorway. And it's a bright, pretty colorway that I knit my abalone sweater out of. So all you have to do is knit one of the Girlfriends Knitting designs. There are 5. And enter your finished object on the thread. If you knit more than one, you can enter more than one. And I know there's been at least one, like Sally, I think, has entered more than one. So, yay! The last thing in the What's Going On section is there is new artwork. So a friend of mine created some artwork for me, and we're having trouble making it this really tiny size because it doesn't show up very well, so I've been trying to tweak with that, and right now it still kind of looks a little blurry on the real tiny size, but the banner I love. So we've been having some fun with that and working on new artwork for Girlfriends Knitting, so I'm excited about that. Alright, let's jump into the knitting. Nothing finished. Everything is works in progress because, like I said, I just kind of played around and didn't really focus real hard on anything. So this is the Fisherman Sweater. It's a free pattern from Lion Brand. This is the sleeve. So it's heavily cabled. And there is a mistake in there, but I don't care. And it matches me right now. But this is going to be for Amy, and I will probably steal it, but that's okay. It's made out of the chocolate Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. So I'm calling it my Fisherman's Sweater. And it's really enjoyable, but it's very intensive, and so I really need to work on it only when I can focus on it. So I have not gotten much done. I can show you on the back. That's where I started at the cabin, and I knit about 2 inches. So, you know, it's slowly but surely. The sleeve is halfway done. Of course, there's another sleeve and a front and a back, but we'll forget about that for right now. So that's one thing I've been working on. The other 2 things are all Stockinette Zombies related. Shout out! So I am going to the Stockinette Zombies Knitpocalypse this summer, and I'm so excited. It's my birthday present to myself. And so they are having a shawl knit-along where you knit a shawl in green. They're also having a mystery shawl knit-along, and I'm just not much into the mystery knit-alongs. I like waiting to see what they look like and then jumping on board. And I must say, Josh, sort of a knitter, his pattern is awesome. It's Graphic Infection, and I really am liking what I'm seeing. So I may end up knitting that shawl as well. But this is the Steady Stripe. Stripe Steady. I always say that backwards. The Stripe Steady by Vera Valamaki. I always messed up. And I'm loving how it's turning out. So it's a pretty green in a variegated purpley blue color. It's a very similar color to what I knit my gauntlets out of, which I finished. Dang, I forgot to bring those with me. Well, you'll see them next week. So my Downton Abbey gauntlets, I did finish those. But back to this. This is out of Cascade Heritage Hand Paints, and then the Cascade Heritage Silk in green. And I'm knitting them on my size 6 signatures. And once you get the hang of the pattern, it's really fun. I was able to knit about 3 stripes worth last night while we were watching a movie. So I'm really enjoying this. So again, this is the Stripe Steady. So it is my Stockinette Zombies shawl knit-along project. You have to put it in a Stockinette Zombies bag. Come on. Then Amy and I had a bet going. We have bets going all the time and win silly stuff. And right now I can't even remember what the bet was, but I won. So the bet was whichever person won, I'd cast on socks for them. And so they got to be the next person, because Amy is so addicted to the hand knit socks, and I love making them, so I really don't care if I'm making them for me or for her. And most of the time I'll make a pair for her, and then I end up wearing them anyway. So it makes me happy to be knitting socks. So that was the bet. Whoever won the bet, they got to pick out the yarn and the pattern for the socks that I was going to cast on. Well, I won. And so I picked Stocking Knit Zombies socks, and it is in the Stocking Knit Zombies birthday colorway, which I don't have the tag, but it's something like, why didn't you tell me I look like a crazy birthday cake in this shirt? That's the colorway. It's hilarious. I believe it's 716 Knits. And I'm going to do both of them top down, which is crazy for me because I never knit my socks top down, but I liked the getting it down, the look of that, better than the partying it up. And so you can knit one way and one the other, or you can knit them both one direction, and I decided to knit them both one direction. And I loved the cast on. I don't think I'm giving too much away if I tell you that it calls for a long tail cast on. Of course, you could use any stretchy cast on. But what I did, can you see that? Do you see how the top is like got a lime green line? I put the split between the pink and the green as the middle point of my long tail cast on. And so when I cast on, it gave me this little bitty lime green ridge, which I just love it. So there you go. Those are my socks. Again, this pattern is by Megan of Stocking Knit Zombies, and it's the Stocking Knit Zombie colorway. And I'm knitting them on a US 0 because it's really a light fingering. It's a very thin fingering yarn weight. So I went down a size because I wanted them to be thicker. I've noticed that I have started getting a little bit too loose with my sock gauge because I'm knitting with a lot of light fingering weight yarns. And with heavy fingering, I usually use, gosh, that sounded bad. I usually use a size US 1.5 needle. But now that I'm using a lot of yarn that's thinner, I wanted to kind of go down a size so that the fabric's a little bit thicker and a little bit sturdier. So those are the three things that I currently am focusing on. You'll probably notice that Mom's skew socks are missing from the pattern that I've showed you, and that is because I knit halfway up the leg of the second sock and realized that it was much bigger than the first sock. So I had to rip out all the way back to the foot and, past the heel and everything, all the way back to the foot. And so that frustrated me. And so I put them in timeout for a moment. But they'll get back out. They're not in bad timeout. They're just, I needed a break from them. So that's what's been going on. So let me talk about fitness. I realized the other day, 3 races coming up. So in just a month, I have a 1 mile fun run, which is not a problem. In June, I signed up for the Stocking Knit Zombies 5K, which I will probably walk more of than I run. But my goal is to run as much of it as I can. And then the color run, which I did last year and told you all about, it's in October, and we're signing up for it again. And Amy and Chelsea and probably several other, my assistant and her family, are all going to do it again. So I'm extremely excited about that. So that's 3 races this year alone that I have already signed up for, like paid money for. So I definitely need to be working. Amy's going to start meeting me up at the gym to work out. So that's going to be really good. I'm very excited about that. And when we were on vacation, we walked everywhere. But, as I was saying on Clark the other day, or on Ravelry, I ate more on vacation, so I actually feel like I gained weight because even though I did walk more, I ate more. So it didn't balance out to losing weight. but I am also trying to walk more around campus. 2 days this week, I walked about 10 minutes around campus. So I'm definitely moving more than I have been. Still not as much as I need to. What I really need to focus on is better eating. And that's what I've been learning from these books. So I told you I would tell you next about French Women Don't Get Fat. Hilarious book. I highly recommend it. Basically, her point is French women don't get fat until they come to America as an exchange student. That's the moral of the book. And I really think that's true. There's a Weight Watchers commercial too, where it's an Australian woman, I believe, who's talking about how, or maybe she's European, I'm not sure, but she came to America and the portion sizes are so much bigger that she gained weight. That's exactly what happens. The portion sizes are huge. And so we don't know what an actual correct portion size is for our body. And that's basically what she says, that her doctor told her to write down everything you eat for 3 weeks. Don't monitor what you eat, you're just writing it down. So you're not trying to change it, you're just becoming aware. Then she eats leek soup for a weekend. I don't know about that. I haven't tried that. I plan on trying it, and I'll let you know what I think of it. I've never tried a leek, so I may love it. I may not like it at all. I don't know. I do like an onion broth kind of soup, so I may enjoy it. I'm not sure. But she says that's basically just to kind of reset your body, to get the sugar and all of that out of your system. Then the idea is eat what you want, but eat really good quality food. So whole foods, really good quality proteins and carbohydrates, but just don't eat much of them. So you can eat whatever you want. If you're craving a steak, fine. Eat a really good quality homegrown corn-fed beef steak that you know the origin of. But just eat, 3 ounces. You eat a small amount. And another book that I've been reading, because I finished this one a while back, of course, because it's been 2 weeks since I've talked to you. So I started listening to Bethany Frankel. You may know her name from Housewives. So the Real Housewives of New York. She was on that. And she also guest starred in The Neighbors this past week, which I thought was hilarious. And The Neighbors is one of these really weird shows that I didn't think I was going to like, and I don't think I should like, but I really do, and I find it really funny. And it's just a silly little sitcom about aliens, but it's hilarious. And she was on there just as a guest star kind of a thing, and it was hilarious. But I've been listening to her audiobook called The Skinny Girl Rules, and she goes through 10 rules on how to be naturally thin. And it's all the same idea. It's not a diet, it's changing your perception about what you eat and how you move. And it's basically the same idea. Have what you want, but pick really good quality stuff. Don't do the processed stuff. Don't do all this fake food. Pick really good quality things and eat them in moderation. So you're not monitoring so much how much fat or how much calories or anything like that. You're just monitoring portions. And I think I especially have a really bad misconception of what a portion is from living in our culture. So one night we got some really good fruit and a really great cheese and some really high quality bread, and we ate that, and that was wonderful. I went to Outback Steakhouse and we got a steak and green beans, and they were amazing. And that's all I had. It was the steak and the green beans. And it was so good. So good. And so I am really trying to focus on more whole food, but I find it so hard to change to that because it's just not my habit. And so there's so many bad habits that I have to break to get me to that point. So that's where I am. Tell me where you are on the Rav boards or in the comments. I'd love to know what y'all are working on and struggling with. All right, y'all have a good week, and I will see you next week. Bye.